I have so many intriguing questions for you. Can you just tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, of course. So I am a wellness coach that works with people and build their vision for their health and their life. But my niche is actually working with women with adrenal fatigue, and it's something that it's a chronic fatigue situation that I used to have about 7 years ago. And running into a lot of dead ends at the time and not really fully understanding what it was and what were the best ways to handle it, and eventually letting me down to a journey of self-recovery and self-healing. And it's the best thing ever because I found out so much about myself. And now it's my hope and mission to really help women recover from adrenal fatigue.
Wow, that is amazing. You must feel so empowered by that.
It is actually a very empowering journey because when you live your day-to-day life, not knowing how much is already within you and how much gold you're sitting on in terms of your own ability and your own power and your own connection to the larger part of you that most of us may not be tapped into. But during that journey, I really have given myself a lot of space and built myself that container to tap into all those strength and internal power. And I would love to actually be able to, share that with people out there so that they know that they actually are sitting in their own very true medicine box and their own gold.
Wow. Wow. Thank you for that. Um, Tell me a little bit about your book and about the significance of the title, Goodbye Adrenal Fatigue, the Step-by-Step Healing Companion Guide.
Yeah, so I very much want that book title to reflect that your dream can absolutely come true, in the sense that you don't need to be dealing with that all your life, and it's something that will actually go away once you get into the bottom of what is causing you that energy leakage or that drainage. And the message that I want to send to people is that we're all creator of our lives, and we're not victims. And we can certainly get into the groove of, thinking that, oh, this really sucks. Why am I, stuck with this thing? And why am I so tired? Why do I get these conditions and having all these symptoms? And it's definitely not a good place to be. But instead of thinking that you're stuck and you don't know what to do, you rise out of that and you kind of transcend that stage and allow yourself to face the more important questions of who I am, what am I doing in this lifetime, what's getting my energy so stuck and so drained, how can I come out of these situations and circumstances. And I think those are the key things that I want people to know, is ask the larger questions instead of, just thinking about, oh, my cortisol level or my hormones and my digestive issues. And yes, those are all symptoms, but they're only showing you that you're going down a path that you should course correct.
Okay. That's very interesting. I wouldn't have thought about it that way. Thank you. When you were writing this book, did you have any challenges while doing this, or was it easy for you, or what were some of your challenges while writing this book?
Ooh, I love writing this book. But yeah, there are chapters that are not as fun as the others. So the funnest chapters were obviously were the meditation ones and the yoga science ones, and the ones that I'm drawn to the most. The ones that, they're more science-based and facts-based, I did my research and everything. So I basically make sure that it's really reflective of the facts and the evidence and of the science. And those are the ones that I have to kind of muscle through. I'm like, okay, let's make sure it's all right. But the ones about my own experience of meditation and doing yoga and all that, those are all fun. So I love those chapters.
Okay. I love the cover for your book. Like, I love how that lady is kind of jumping towards the cliff. This looks like this rock face cliff. I'm not sure if it is, but it's almost like they're just getting there. What can you tell me about the process with coming up with that cover?
Yeah, so just for those who may not have seen it. So I love this cover because I don't know what you would imagine that's down here, whether
Yeah.
water or whether it's a big, canyon or, whatever it is. Sometimes it's a little bit scary when you have to go from one side of the bridge to the other, And so this is really conveying the fact that you absolutely can do it and that you can go to one side and out to the other where you won't even look back. But the thing about here is that you need to transcend the fears and let go of the fears and stop holding on to what are the obstacles for you and be able to allow life to take you to the other side. And if you need to find a coach or someone to work with you, that's where they come into. But you can do it on your own. But if you find a coach to work with you, it just makes it less scary, and they would coach you through that way. But I love the cover of the book because of that image. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I love the image because I envision a canyon, just so you know.
Yeah, I don't know which is worse, water or canyon.
Canyon. For me, it was canyon. Um, what inspired you to write this book? Is there something in your life, in your story, that was the driving force behind it, or?
To be honest with you, I've always known that there's a book in me. That's just some of the inkling that I have, my whole life. I know that I need to write a book, but I just don't know exactly what. And the moment has came when I ran into Angela and her company, Author Incubator. And me and my husband actually applied at the same time. And so he always wanted to write a book and I want to write a book. And we thought we might write a book together. But I ended up getting into the program and he became a supporter. But I ended up writing a book about this this topic, which is a very timely one due to the pandemic that we have now. And the whole idea was hatched before the pandemic, and then sure enough, a quarter later, it's becoming a very relevant topic for a lot of people. So yeah, deep down inside, I'm just getting, tapping into that intuition, and it's all working out beautifully. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, no kidding. Who do you feel this book is for? Like, is there a specific group of people, or is it just for people that have adrenal fatigue, or is it for other people with other health conditions, or how would I know if I needed, even though I've read your book, but how would I know if I hadn't read your book that I needed to?
Yeah, so the book, the original intention is to really educate women for the most part who most likely are busy with kids and maybe in the middle stage of their life when they're inundated with responsibilities and roles and dealing with different things in their lives, perhaps taking care of the parents as well as family members. So yeah, it's a lot of stress management and techniques and tools that are really relevant. But knowing that stress is such a huge topic, in modern day society, and especially now when we're constantly reacting to the news and to what's going on in the world and to so many different things and events and circumstances thrown at us in our world right now, I think this book is actually going to be really relevant for everybody who feels stress, everybody who feels a little tension in their lives, people who have forgotten how to live life joyfully, how to, build in laughter and fun and downtime into their schedules, and be busy, busy, busy all the time. And I think that's the book that would be for you and for those people. So.
Okay. Okay. I never asked you, but maybe I should have asked you, what is adrenal fatigue?
Yeah, that's a really good question because a lot of people are not properly diagnosed, or they may not be diagnosed, but only by functional doctors. And in Chinese medicine, they have many, many variations of adrenal fatigue that they would diagnose you with as well. But in general, what it is that the nervous system gets so depleted that the functions that are happening in the background, like things that you don't tell your body to do, but it knows what to do, like digesting food, like metabolism or metabolizing, energy, and breathing and your heart beating. All these different things are happening in the background. You're not telling anybody to do it for you. It just happens on its own. All those functions actually rely on your nervous system to be in the relaxation state to fully function coherently. And so if your nervous system, which has two modes, one is the fight or flight mode, the other is the relax and heal mode. If it's constantly in a fight or flight, let's just say you're constantly being pulled over by a cop, that's the mode you're in, right? Like you're thinking of reacting, you're kind of, thrown out of your normal situation and you're reacting and you're scared. That's the fight or flight. The opposite end of it would be relax and heal and digest and repair. And that's when perhaps you're in a bath, you're relaxing and you're getting a feet rub, and they're completely different modes, right? But they cannot be on at the same time. So they're either one on, one off, or one on, the other off. So if you, are living in conditions where you're constantly being pulled over by the cop, or perceiving that there's threat happening to you, or feeling that there's a perception of danger, that you need to react. And that actually turns on the fight or flight mode, and that would cause the digestion and the repair of your body and your immunity system and your metabolism system to turn off. And so those functions would not be properly being performed. And therefore, people in a constant state of threat would have digestion issues, they would have sleeping issues, they would have metabolism issues, weight gain, blood sugar, going up and down, and immunity being an issue. And autoimmune is actually a very likely result of your nervous system not being tended to and being taken care of.
Well, that makes sense.
Long way of answering your question.
No, it was no, because I really honestly wasn't sure what adrenal fatigue was. So that was a very good explanation. Thank you.
Yeah, and can I add to that? Can I add to that?
Oh, yes.
So when people talk about adrenal fatigue, the adrenal glands are obviously taking a hit. And so the glands actually secrete cortisol, and so the cortisol would be out of rhythm and out of coherence. And your adrenal glands actually talks to other glands. It talks to your brother and sister glands, the thymus, the thyroid, and the pineal glands. And it's all like an integrated system. You have glands up, from here all the way down. And so the communication and the conversation between the glands would be out of coherence if your adrenal glands are being taken out of coherence as well, because of the problem with the nervous system. And so it's really not just one set of glands that are being impacted. It's really all throughout. And that's why your hormones would be out of coherence, and your cortisol and your melatonin and serotonin that governs your sleep by the pineal glands would also be affected as well. So it's really a whole body situation, not just your adrenal glands sitting on your kidneys. So I just want to clarify that.
No, that's good. That's good. Yeah. More information, the better. That's good. What do you feel like are the triggers for adrenal fatigue for somebody that has adrenal? What are their triggers?
Immediate triggers usually are big, huge emotional lifetime events like death of a family member or loss or grief or something like that, because that's really a stressful event that doesn't happen that often. Something that would cause a lot of fear in your life as well. So this pandemic, for example, would likely trigger something for a lot of people because they may have to deal with some loss or grief, or just being in a constant state of perception of threats and fearful of the unknown and fearful of what is to come. Those are very big things that would set it off, in combination of fearful of, of what's happening in your life, or not being able to get into the mode of I am safe and I'm secure and I'm protected and guided, but the opposite of that, and being constantly on edge and anxious and being stressed out. Those are the big ones to set off the nervous system in a big way, that it would never be able to go into that relax and heal mode as often as it should, and then everything else then take a toll.
Okay, that's interesting. Very interesting. I wouldn't have known that. That's really good. So, what do you think is the most useful for your readers? What chapter do you feel like for you when you wrote it would be the most useful for your readers?
Yeah, that's a good question. For me, meditation is the beginning of my healing journey. So everything else are important in the book, but I feel like if there's one thing you want to do, if there's one thing you want to try, meditation is not a bad place to start. And I think chapter 6, talking about meditation, is obviously my favorite chapter because it's so juicy, and meditation just is it's something that nobody should not be doing, I think,
Yeah.
especially in this time of the world and time, what's going on. It's a really quick way to actually escape into a sanctuary and just sidestep all the roles and responsibilities and all the tension and all the stress and perception of threat that you have, and just be able to go into this container of space to be able to tune into yourself and your connection to your intuition and to that space. To learn how to do that, it's huge. And I think it may be a hurdle for a lot of people in the beginning, but once they settle into that 1 minute or 2 minutes, and then eventually working up to a longer period of time, it's the best gift they can ever give to themselves. And it's absolutely free, and you can do it anytime you want. So
Wow. Yes, I 100% agree with you. 100%. There's nothing better than meditation for me.
yeah, it's free. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
You
not
can do it
putting
on your
anything
own.
into your body. There's no pills to remember to take, and it's so much easier.
So, what is the major takeaway from your book for your readers?
Besides meditation, I think mindset check, it's a huge one, because I think people who are prone to adrenal fatigue are also people who may lack boundaries properly, so they don't really know where someone else begin and where they end, and they have this need to help others, not replenishing themselves fully, not knowing when to say no, when they really want to say no, but they say yes because they don't want to hurt others, they don't want to feel bad, not saying yes or being nice to others. People with, that boundary issues, they should really, think about reading this book and understanding why that is causing them the drainage and the leakage, and want to also do a quick check on people who have relationships that may not be beneficial to them, and deep down inside they find a relationship really draining,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't know how to get out of it. That's something that they should consider thinking about, because relationships can be a big source of drainage as well.
Okay. Okay. If there was one secret you could share that's inside your book with your readers, what would you share with them?
I like that one. I think that you need to remember that the secret is already inside of you. You just need to find the key. And the key is to set aside time and to give yourself the gift of time to silence yourself into that moment where the keys are being revealed to you. So
Right.
the keys are always waiting for you to pick up. But you need
Yes.
to know that the time you spend on meditation is when things are being revealed to you and the answers come. And you silence your mind, and then it's almost like the voice will speak to you. And so that's why it's so valuable to spend that time. And and talking about your book, I know angels speak to you, your voice speaks to you, all the secrets being revealed. And so that's why it's such a gift.
Okay. That's amazing. When your readers finish your book, what is your greatest hope for them that they take away from your book?
There's so much there's such a big part of life that is larger than us, that are guiding us, protecting us, and supporting us. And I think a lot of people don't know that we're not alone. We're not supposed to be alone in this world, to be wrestling everything to the ground and, elbowing our way through and arm wrestling. It's really more that the bigger part of life, it's carrying us down the river and stream of life.
Wow.
We just need to allow for that to happen. We just need to know how to understand that we need to surrender to that flowing river, and that's carrying us at all times. And it would never let us drown. And so I think that if you can get to a state of allowing that river of life to carry you, that's where you want to be. And I think that is the secret and the joy of life. And life would never be difficult again if you understand how to do that.
Yeah, I love that. I just love that. Yeah, I totally 100% agree. Can I ask you a few more questions? Do you have time for a few more questions? Okay. If you could describe your book in 3 words, what would those 3 words be?
That's an amazing question. Obviously we haven't practiced before, so I mean, I'm just really now thinking about those 3 words. I would say it would be more than 3, but if I really want to do 3, I would say it would be how about 3 phrases?
Sure.
Love yourself thoroughly. Transcend your fears, or transmute your own fears. Rise above your fears. And connect to your source, or connect to your own inner voice that is super, super powerful. I would say those 3 things. I cheated. But...
Beautiful. No, that's beautiful. No rules here. I think your readers, well, if I had adrenal fatigue, I would really want to know how long it took you to heal, or how long it took you to really implement the tools that you use in your book, so that so that they are able to maybe jumpstart it, heal faster. But yeah. How long was your journey?
I think my journey was longer than well, I mean, it depends on your stage of fatigue too. I think some people are getting stages in their diagnosis, but obviously the longer you've let it gone on for, the harder it is to turn around, because it is like a big boat. It takes a while to let the front of the boat, to turn, to course correct. But I would say the shortcut for you, even though it may be an advanced stage or whatever stage you are, the fastest and biggest way to course correct is by really doing meditation. And if you find it hard to sit still, start with doing yoga and stretching, because that's kind of meditation in motion. And I also have in the book some resources on Qigong, which is also a way to get out of your head and get into your body.
Yes, yes.
And connect with your body more, and therefore, letting your mind not be the center stage all the time. And so that type of meditative movements in motion will get you out of your mind faster than, when you want to sit still and you can't. Because once you're able to connect with the secret keys and what you need to do, then you will take instinctive or, intuitive actions or inspired actions to get to where you need to get to the most and the fastest, to then take the next most inspired step for you to recover, whether it's taking a certain supplement or going to see a certain person or start doing a certain ritual. Those answers will come to you. So if you want to tap into your own inner resources faster, getting out of your own mind or getting out of your own ego or the constant bombarding of voices of needing to do this or needing to do that, all that, whatever's covering the true sound of intuition, the true voice of intuition, we need to quiet all that down so that you can get through to, your own best answers. And everybody's different. There's no one size fit all, but a lot of the tools mentioned in the book, they are the best ways to get through the whole process naturally and holistically, and without spending necessarily too much money or doing too many doctor visits and running around and, finding, the right doctors. That's not all necessary, because a lot of it you can do on your own.
Okay. Wow. Okay, thank you. Well, thank you so much for being here with me today and explaining a lot of tools and how, like, what adrenal fatigue is and how to get through it. And I suggest everybody read your book because it's so fantastic and gives you so many tools. Are there any other things that you want to add and tell your readers or people that are considering reading your book?
Yeah. I think the final message is that you're your own hero. You're on a journey of your lifetime to overcome what you need to overcome. And by you seeking out and going on to this journey and willing to do it and understanding what your dark night of the soul is and what your fears and what the voices in your heads that are not true to you, once you're able to understand them, then you can break out and get yourself into a stage where you find that your true light is going to be revealed to you and that you're stepping into the power that you're supposed to have in this lifetime, and knowing that power has always been within you and now you're really stepping into it, and understanding that that is what's shining through your path and you're always with that light. And I think that's the final message I want to have for readers and everyone. So
Thank you so much. I am so grateful to have had this time to talk with you today.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure.